Hello, friends. Welcome to Podcast Vault. The purpose of this channel is to give you a better listening experience through audiobooks and informative audio content. Whether you're short on time to read or on the go, knowledge is now just a click away. Make sure to watch this video till the end to find out what we have in store for you. If you like our effort, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, comment below and let us know what kind of content you'd like to hear more of. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support. At Podcast Vault, every word is for you.
Will artificial intelligence take your job? I mean, it's the question sparking headlines and, frankly, a lot of anxiety right now, isn't it?
It really is.
You hear everything from, doom and gloom warnings,
Right.
mass unemployment,
Right.
to these like sky-high projections of new opportunities. It's just incredibly hard to sort out what's real.
It absolutely is. And that's because, well, this isn't just a simple picture of jobs being deleted.
Oh.
It's a really complex dynamic transformation. We're talking the entire labor market driven by this incredibly powerful new technology.
Precisely. And that complexity, that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
We've taken a deep dive into a stack of recent research and articles looking at forecasts from major players like the World Economic Forum, Goldman Sachs, McKinsey.
The big names.
Right. All focused on AI's impact on jobs. So our mission in this deep dive is to go beyond those sensational headlines, unpack what the actual data from these leading reports tells us about displacement, creation, where the shifts are happening. And most importantly, what you can do to navigate it.
Think of this as trying to cut through the speculation, really.
Yeah.
We're looking at what the most rigorous analyses project is coming down the line.
Okay.
And how that translates into, practical realities for workers across different fields.
Okay, let's unpack the big picture first then. When you look across these major forecasts, what's the prevailing view? Are we looking at a net gain or loss of jobs globally by, say, 2030?
Well, what's fascinating here is that despite the very real fears of displacement,
Right.
the consensus among these leading reports is that we're likely to see a net gain in global employment by 2030.
A net gain.
Because of AI, yeah.
Okay, that definitely pushes back against some of the more dire predictions you hear floating around. How significant is that projected gain?
The World Economic Forum is a key source for this. Their forecast suggests that by 2030, around 92 million jobs could be displaced globally by AI and automation.
92 million. That number alone is substantial.
It is.
92 million jobs changing or potentially going away? That's a huge human impact right there.
It is. But they counterbalance that by projecting the creation of a larger number.
Oh.
170 million new jobs within that same time frame.
Wow. So 170 million new jobs appearing versus 92 million being displaced. That's where the net positive comes from.
Exactly. Resulting in their projected net gain of 78 million jobs by 2030.
Okay, so that's the long-term look, according to the WEF.
Mm-hmm.
Are other projections seeing a similar overall trend? Or are there different metrics at play?
Other major reports, they generally align on the potential for growth, yeah. But they sometimes frame it differently.
How so?
Goldman Sachs, for example, estimated that up to 300 million full-time equivalent jobs could be affected.
Affected.
Right. And it's crucial to understand here that affected often means parts of a job, specific tasks are automated, not necessarily the entire job disappearing overnight.
Okay, so AI might take over like 30% of someone's responsibilities.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're out of a job. It means their role fundamentally changes.
Precisely. McKinsey also has a widely cited projection suggesting 400 to 800 million jobs could be displaced globally by 2030.
That's a huge range.
It is. Depends on the pace of AI adoption. But, like the Goldman Sachs number, they emphasize this includes jobs where only a portion of tasks are automated.
I see.
It's more a measure of exposure to automation, not necessarily a direct count of jobs eliminated.
So a very large number of jobs will be touched by AI.
Yes.
But the number of jobs completely eliminated might be much lower than those big top-line figures suggest.
That's the nuance the reports highlight. However, and this is where the critical insight comes in,
Okay.
the transition isn't expected to be smooth or easy.
Right.
The WEF forecast specifically warns that by 2027, the world could actually see a net loss of 14 million jobs globally.
A net loss before the gain.
Before that net gain emerges by 2030, yeah.
Okay, that's a significant point. Short-term challenges before the potential long-term upside.
Yeah.
Why? Why is that initial period expected to be a net negative?
Well, it reflects the friction of transition, really. Displacement happens relatively quickly, AI automates existing tasks, but job creation often lags
Why does it lag?
because it requires building new industries, new roles, and crucially, reskilling millions and millions of workers.
Oh, yeah.
The WEF breakdown for 2027 is something like 83 million jobs lost versus 69 million created by that year.
So still a gap then.
Exactly. The core message is that the journey to a net positive by 2030 involves massive disruption.
Right.
And requires millions of workers. Estimates suggest up to maybe 23% of workers by 2027 and at least 14% globally by 2030 needing to transition.
Transition into different roles or even entirely new fields.
Yes.
Wow, that scale of transition, potentially hundreds of millions of people. That makes you wonder which types of work are feeling this impact most directly. Where are the jobs most exposed to this initial wave of automation?
Well, if we connect this to the characteristics of AI, the jobs most vulnerable are those primarily built around routine.
Routine tasks.
Repetitive or highly standardized tasks, things AI excels at. Processing large volumes of predictable data, executing rule-based processes much faster and cheaper than humans.
Okay, so looking at the reports, which specific sectors or types of jobs stand out as being most at risk here?
Manufacturing is a classic example, though, the impact there isn't entirely new with AI.
True, automation's been happening there for a while.
Right. But the shift now is towards more robotics, more AI-driven automation on production lines. An MIT Boston University estimate suggests maybe 2 million manufacturing workers globally could be replaced by robots by 2025.
2 million by next year.
Yeah, with up to 20 million manufacturing jobs globally potentially impacted by 2030.
And the mechanism there is?
AI's ability to handle precise, repetitive physical tasks and increasingly rudimentary quality control.
That makes intuitive sense, automating repetitive physical labor.
Yeah.
What about white-collar jobs?
Oh, a huge area is administrative and data entry roles.
Okay.
Think data entry clerks, secretaries handling standardized correspondence, clerical roles focused on processing forms.
Stuff AI can process quickly.
Exactly. AI can handle large volumes of structured data exponentially faster. One projection notes over 7.5 million data entry jobs could be lost by 2027.
7.5 million.
Yeah. And what's particularly insightful here is an ILO estimate highlighting a significant gender disparity risk.
How so?
They found that 7.8% of women's jobs in high-income countries, especially those concentrated in clerical roles, are considered at high risk.
Compared to men?
Compared to just 2.9% of men's jobs.
Wow. That points to a potential challenge around equity in this whole transition.
Definitely.
What about customer-facing roles?
Customer service, yeah. Particularly for routine inquiries, that's highly susceptible.
Like basic FAQs.
Right. Call center agents dealing with frequently asked questions or standard transactions. They're seeing AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants take over.
I've definitely interacted with more of those lately.
We all have. Some sources project that a striking 95% of customer service interactions could be AI-powered by 2025.
95%. That's a staggering figure.
It is, and it just underscores how efficiently AI can handle volume for predictable interactions.
Right.
Now, this could free up human agents for more complex, empathetic, or unusual cases. If those roles are redefined and workers are reskilled. That's the key.
Okay, other areas.
Transportation and logistics, too, with the rise of autonomous vehicles.
Truck drivers.
Long-distance truck driving is a frequently cited example, yeah. Estimates suggest up to maybe 294,000 jobs in the U.S. alone potentially replaced.
The core characteristic seems to be predictability or high volume of simple tasks. Are there others that follow that pattern?
Finance and accounting roles. Especially bookkeeping and routine transaction processing.
Makes sense. Numbers, data.
Exactly. AI excels at quickly processing large amounts of structured financial data, identifying patterns or anomalies. A UK estimate put about 25.4% of chartered and certified accountant jobs at high risk because of this.
Even professional roles like accountants.
Even within fields like healthcare, and healthcare overall is growing, but tasks like interpreting medical images, radiologists, or analyzing lab results. AI is reaching very high levels of accuracy there. So that poses a risk to some of those purely diagnostic-focused roles.
So, okay, whether it's physical labor, data processing, customer queries, pattern recognition in images, if it's routine and high volume, AI is likely to automate at least part of it.
That seems to be the trend.
And you mentioned advanced economies might be more exposed.
Yes, the sources note that advanced economies, with their higher concentration of, white-collar service jobs involving data and admin tasks, they might see up to 60% of jobs potentially affected.
Numbered.
Compared to around 40% in emerging economies, where labor markets might still be more focused on less automatable physical or relational work.
Okay, that paints a clearer picture of where the pressure is building.
Yeah.
But you started by saying the net outcome by 2030 is projected to be positive.
Right.
So where is the growth happening? What types of jobs and industries are expected to emerge or expand because of AI?
Yeah, and this raises the key question, doesn't it? If AI handles the routine and the predictable, where does unique human value lie in the future workplace?
Exactly.
The growth areas seem to fall into a few categories where AI is actually built and managed.
Okay.
Where human skills are inherently essential and hard to automate.
Makes sense.
And where AI serves as a powerful tool to augment human capability.
The flip side of the coin, then, where are the opportunities?
Well, unsurprisingly, jobs directly involved in the AI ecosystem itself are booming. We're talking AI engineers, data scientists, machine learning specialists, AI ethicists, cybersecurity experts, robotic engineers, software developers building and maintaining these systems.
The engine room, basically.
Exactly. That's the engine room of growth.
Makes sense. We need people to create the tech itself.
Yeah.
What about fields where human interaction or judgment is paramount?
Healthcare is a prime example here.
Right. You mentioned AI assisting, not replacing.
Exactly. While AI can assist with diagnostics, the core roles, doctors, nurses, therapists, caregivers, they're expected to grow significantly.
Why?
Well, aging populations drive demand, sure. But crucially, these roles require empathy, complex judgment, relationship building, hands-on care. Things AI just cannot replicate.
Right.
AI in healthcare is primarily seen as a powerful augmentation tool for clinicians, helping them analyze data faster, identify patterns, freeing them up for direct patient care.
So AI helps the doctor be more efficient. It doesn't replace the doctor's relationship with the patient or their ultimate diagnostic responsibility.
Precisely. Education and training is another growing area.
Because of all the reskilling needed.
Exactly. As the job market shifts so rapidly, there's this enormous need to reskill and upskill the workforce. Human teachers, corporate trainers, instructional designers, they're essential for adaptive learning, mentorship, imparting complex skills.
Including teaching how to work with AI, presumably.
Absolutely. The human touch in learning remains crucial.
It does. What about creative fields? There's a lot of concern there, too.
There is concern and disruption in content generation. But there are also new opportunities emerging.
Such as?
Think creative directors, content strategists, multimedia artists. The human role shifts, more towards higher level strategy, conceptualizing, directing the AI tools, curating the outputs to fit a broader creative vision.
So less about generating every single piece from scratch.
Right.
And more about leveraging AI to execute a human-led creative strategy at scale.
That's a great way to put it. Using AI as a creative partner or tool, not just a replacement generator.
That's a fascinating distinction. What other fields are expected to grow?
Biotechnology and life sciences are expanding, driven by complex research discovery that requires deep human scientific expertise.
AI helps analyze, but humans drive the questions.
Exactly. AI is a powerful analytical tool here, but the experimental design, interpreting novel results, ethical considerations that remains firmly in the human domain.
Okay.
And energy and sustainability roles are also projected to grow significantly.
Makes sense with the green transition.
Yeah, as the world transitions to renewables, addresses climate change, managing incredibly complex energy grids, developing innovative solutions that requires human expertise that AI can only assist.
So the growth areas seem to be either directly involved in building AI or in these complex fields that require uniquely human skills, empathy, creativity, strategic thinking, complex judgment.
Yes.
Where AI acts as a powerful amplifier rather than a replacement.
That's the pattern the data reveals, and it really reinforces the scale of the transition we talked about earlier. Millions will need to move into these new or transformed roles.
Which means this transformation isn't just about which jobs disappear or appear, right? It's also about how the work itself changes for those who remain or those in the growing fields.
Absolutely.
It sounds like the concept of AI augmenting human work is really central to this whole picture.
It's absolutely key. Yeah. Recent research strongly suggests that AI is much more likely to augment human work. Making people more capable, more efficient, than simply replace it entirely across the board.
Augmentation versus elimination. How does that actually manifest in the workplace?
Well, we're already seeing evidence. Studies show that even in jobs considered highly automatable, like certain types of coding or customer support, wages and job growth are still happening where AI is used to make workers more productive.
Interesting.
And experiments demonstrate that human AI teams often outperform either humans or AI working alone on complex tasks that require both, data processing and nuanced judgment.
That's a powerful argument for collaboration over competition, then.
It really is.
So how does this change the day-to-day role of a human worker? What does that look like?
What's fascinating here is the shift in the human role from primarily creating, whether that's drafting documents, writing code, inputting data.
The initial generation part.
Right, to curating and directing. AI can generate drafts, analyze huge data sets, even write initial code much faster.
Okay.
The human then becomes the editor, the strategist, the one who refines, evaluates, applies judgment.
So the quality control, the sense checker.
Exactly. This ideally frees up human workers to focus on higher value tasks. Creative problem solving, building relationships, strategic thinking, exercising that complex judgment that AI lacks.
So instead of getting bogged down in the grunt work, maybe, AI helps you get a head start, allowing you to spend more time on the things that truly require human insight and decision-making.
That's the potential, yes. But realizing that potential requires workers to develop the skills needed for this augmented future.
And that leads perfectly to the next crucial point. If the workplace is transforming, and humans are shifting towards curation and higher-level tasks alongside AI, what does that mean for the skills you need to thrive?
The reports are unanimous on this. The skill landscape is changing incredibly rapidly.
How rapid?
Some sources project that the skills required for most jobs could change by up to 70%. 70% over the next 5 years.
Wow.
Employers anticipate that about 39% of workers' core skills will need significant adaptation by 2030.
That's a massive shift for almost everyone currently in the workforce. What are these new crucial skills we need?
It's really a blend of technical fluency and enhanced human capabilities.
Okay, let's break that down. Technical side first.
On the technical side, look, you don't necessarily need to become an AI developer, but you need proficiency in interacting with data and understanding AI tools.
Like what specifically?
This includes things like data analysis skills, understanding the basics of machine learning and generative AI, and increasingly things like prompt engineering.
Prompt engineering?
Yeah, knowing how to effectively communicate with AI models to get the results you actually need. It's a skill in itself.
Okay. What else technical?
Other key technical areas are cloud computing fundamentals, understanding automation tools, and crucially, cybersecurity.
So basically being data literate and AI literate, even if you're not building the AI yourself.
Exactly.
What about the skills that are uniquely human? You said that was part of the blend.
Yes, and these become even more valuable as AI handles routine tasks.
Because AI can't do them.
Precisely. We're talking about skills that are hard, maybe impossible for AI to replicate. Adaptability and continuous learning, just the willingness and ability to constantly acquire new skills. That's huge.
Lifelong learning, basically.
Absolutely essential now. Then, creativity and critical thinking, evaluating AI outputs, coming up with novel ideas AI wouldn't generate.
Okay.
Emotional intelligence, communication, interpersonal skills, essential for teamwork, leadership, customer interaction that goes beyond simple queries.
The soft skills.
The often called soft skills, which are becoming incredibly hard, valuable skills. Complex problem solving and strategic planning are also vital.
So you need the technical understanding to work with AI.
Yes.
But the human skills to provide the judgment, the creativity, the connection that AI lacks.
Exactly. And there are also these kind of hybrid skills emerging.
Hybrid skills.
Skills specifically focused on the human-AI interface. Things like understanding how to collaborate effectively with AI systems.
Okay.
Being aware of the ethical considerations in using AI and developing the ability to oversee and guide AI outputs.
Like being the human check and balance for the AI, making sure it's accurate, aligns with human values or goals.
Precisely that. The reports also mention AI literacy, generally just understanding the capabilities and limitations of AI.
Knowing what it can and can't do.
Right. And domain knowledge, applying AI tools effectively within your specific industry or expertise. And networking is also highlighted as essential for staying informed and finding opportunities.
It sounds like a demanding shift, but potentially a really rewarding one. And the sources mention a financial incentive for acquiring these skills. A wage premium.
They do. Wages for workers with strong AI-related skills are definitely rising. Some reports cite a wage premium of up to 25%.
25% higher pay.
Potentially, yeah.
Right.
Conversely, workers in highly automatable roles who don't adapt their skill sets, they may face slower wage growth or displacement.
Right.
This really underscores the urgency of upskilling and reskilling.
Okay. So with this understanding of the landscape, the risks, the opportunities, the changing nature of work, the crucial skills needed, what can you, our listener, actually do starting today? How do you prepare and thrive in this AI-driven future?
Well, the reports offer several practical strategies for individuals. First and foremost is just embracing lifelong learning and skills development.
Okay.
Whether that's formal education in STEM or AI-adjacent fields, pursuing certifications, or utilizing online courses, boot camps. Continuous learning is just not optional anymore.
It's the new baseline.
Pretty much. McKinsey estimated up to 375 million workers globally may need to reskill by 2030, just highlights the scale of this need.
So formal training, shorter, targeted upskilling.
Yeah.
Both are essential paths.
Yes. And equally important, as we discussed, is actively developing those complementary human-centric skills.
Right.
Cultivating creativity, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving. These are your uniquely human advantages.
Don't just focus on the tech. Double down on what makes you human.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better. Another crucial step is to actively leverage AI tools yourself.
Use them.
In your current role. Experiment with generative AI tools for drafting, use AI-powered data analysis tools, find ways AI can augment your productivity and workflow.
Get hands-on.
Get comfortable using AI. It makes you a more efficient worker, and it demonstrates your adaptability.
Okay, so turn the potential threat into a personal productivity booster.
That's a great way to think about it. Yeah. Also be proactive about exploring emerging roles. Look at the growing areas we discussed. Identify how your current skills might transfer or what new skills you'd need to pivot into one of those fields. Building AI self-efficacy is also vital.
Self-efficacy.
Just feeling confident and capable when interacting with AI tools. Attend workshops, follow online tutorials. Familiarity reduces anxiety.
Makes sense.
And cultivating a mindset of career pivoting and flexibility is key. Be prepared to adapt, identify transferable skills, be open to changing roles, even industries, as the landscape evolves.
It sounds like it requires a blend of targeted learning, hands-on experimentation, and a really flexible mindset.
It does. And on a broader level, the reports also touch on the importance of advocating for worker-centric policies.
Within your workplace.
Yeah.
Or community.
Both. Supporting initiatives that promote training, provide social safety nets, encourage the development of AI that complements human labor rather than simply replacing it.
So there's the individual responsibility, but also a clear call for systemic support.
Absolutely. It's a transition that really requires coordination between individuals, employers, governments. It's too big otherwise.
Right.
And for individuals looking for a concrete starting point, some sources outline a basic plan, like a general 30-day sprint to start building AI literacy.
Okay, a 30-day plan.
Yeah.
That sounds much less overwhelming than rescale entirely. What does that look like?
Yeah, it breaks it down step by step. Week 1 focuses on foundations.
That's the basics.
Right. Just understanding what AI, machine learning, generative AI actually are, exploring some common tools available today.
Get the basic concepts down, see what's out there.
Exactly. Week 2 is hands-on practice.
Doing stuff.
Taking a beginner's course, trying to use AI tools for a specific task in your work or personal life, and starting to look into the ethical considerations of AI use.
Okay, actually putting it to use and thinking about the implications.
Yes. Week 3 is about critical thinking and creativity.
How so?
Practicing evaluating AI outputs for accuracy, using AI for brainstorming or other creative tasks, and reflecting specifically on how AI could augment your own role.
Integrating those human skills with the AI tools.
Precisely. And week 4 is integration and networking.
Wrapping up.
Identifying the specific skills or tools you want to dive deeper into. Joining online communities or local groups interested in AI. networking with others navigating this shift, and creating a personal learning plan for ongoing development.
That's a really practical step-by-step way to move from feeling overwhelmed to taking concrete action.
Yeah.
Start with understanding, then practice, then integrate, and plan for the future.
It emphasizes that it's a journey, not an overnight transformation. And the first step is simply engagement and understanding.
We briefly mentioned policy and employers earlier. What specific actions do the reports suggest they need to take to help manage this transition effectively?
Well, the scale of the required transition means proactive investment is critical. Governments and businesses, they need to invest significantly in STEM education, accessible AI training programs, and robust social safety nets for displaced workers. That's crucial too.
And companies specifically.
Companies need to prioritize internal reskilling initiatives, helping existing employees move into higher skilled roles that leverage AI rather than just constantly hiring new external talent.
Invest in their own people.
Exactly. The focus should be on implementing AI in ways that complement and enhance human capabilities.
So fostering a culture of continuous learning and smart AI integration isn't just an individual task, is it?
No.
It's a corporate and governmental imperative.
It's a shared challenge. It requires coordinated efforts to ensure the benefits of AI are broadly distributed and the inevitable disruption is managed as smoothly as possible.
This has been a truly insightful deep dive, really helpful. We've covered the big numbers, displacement, creation, drilled into the specific types of jobs most affected and those poised for growth.
Yeah, the vulnerable and the emerging roles.
Explored how AI is changing the fundamental nature of work towards augmentation.
That augmentation piece is key.
Identified the crucial blend of technical and human skills needed, and outlined practical steps individuals can take, including that concrete 30-day plan.
I think the core message from these reports is pretty clear. While AI is a powerful force causing significant disruption, and yes, a challenging short-term transition, the data points towards the potential for a net positive in global employment by 2030.
But achieving that positive outcome isn't guaranteed.
Not at all.
It depends heavily on how effectively individuals, companies, governments manage this transition, with a huge emphasis on adaptability, continuous learning.
And developing those uniquely human skills that complement what AI does well.
Blending technical understanding with human capabilities, that really seems to be the path forward in the AI era.
I think so.
So as you think about AI in your own career journey, maybe consider this. AI isn't just a tool we use or a force happening to us. It's increasingly becoming a partner we learn to work with. How will you actively embrace this collaboration and transformation in your own career journey, starting now?